A cruise ship full of evacuees from the Bahamas. The people on board have survived an apocalypse, and for now, they're the lucky ones. Desperation is setting in for those left behind, who've lost everything.
I tell you, y'all gonna break down. Y'all don't believe me. Nobody have no clothes on their back to wear. We don't have no clothes. We don't have nothing.
No power, no water, and it's bad. Everything we have lost, everything is damaged.
As the scale of the destruction becomes clear, international aid efforts are ramping up. But it's a complicated task. The destruction is so widespread.
We have two major islands in the Bahamas, Grand Bahama and Abaco, and oftentimes we forget about the many keys around the Abacos in particular. They themselves, we have to put tremendous focus on those keys because we have residents living on those keys as well.
In the U.S., Dorian made landfall as a Category 1 storm hitting the coast of North Carolina with battering waves. Storm surges and heavy rains caused extensive flooding, while powerful winds and a series of tornadoes ripped the roofs off houses and knocked out power to hundreds of thousands of people.
For more on this, I'm joined now on the line by journalist Bastian Hartig. He's in the Bahamian capital, Nassau. Bastian, living conditions are said to be rapidly deteriorating. What can you tell us about the situation on the ground?
Yeah, Nicole, we were in Marsh Harbor yesterday. That's on Abaco. That's one of the places that was hit hardest by this hurricane. And let me tell you, the situation there is absolutely bleak. There's not one building that hasn't been damaged or destroyed by this hurricane. And one part of the town was completely leveled, and a lot of people are feared dead there. Now, people that we spoke to were desperate. They're desperate for food. They're desperate for water. They're going into the supermarkets, into the warehouses, trying to find these things, but they're rapidly running out of supplies. And we've heard stories of people breaking into houses. Now, we can't confirm that, but we've also heard people say that if the situation doesn't improve soon and people are getting more hungry and more thirsty and more desperate, we're nearing a breaking point on the ground. Nicole?
Aid and rescue efforts are still underway. What's being done to help those acutely in need right now?
Well, there are these official aid and rescue operations underway that are being assisted by the U.S. Coast Guard, by the Navy, by the British Navy as well. But there are also a lot of private initiatives. Yesterday at that airstrip that we flew into in Abaco, we saw a lot of chartered planes bringing in relief goods, taking out people who wanted to leave the island. Now, most of those planes were from here, from Nassau, which is about a 30-minute flight from Abaco. But we also saw one plane from Melbourne, Florida, and the pilots told us that they've been making the trips for the last few days, bringing in relief goods. But it's just extremely difficult to get these goods to the people on the ground. And the people that we spoke to in Marsh Harbor, they told us that they hadn't received anything. They hadn't received a single bottle of water or any food or shelter or anything. And they told us that they're completely on their own, Nicole.
Devastating account from the Bahamas by Bastian Hartig in Nassau. Thank you very much.